So, after much debate and speculation, Nottingham Forest finally know which level of European football they're going to be playing at this season. Having qualified for the Conference League via the Premier League last season, having finished 7th, we all thought that was that, off the back of course, thinking we were going to be in the Champions League for a long period of last season. But it turns out we're going to play neither of those, and we are indeed going to play Europa League football this season. It's an upgrade on Conference League, but it's certainly a harder level of football too, but one that we absolutely, I think, will be aiming to win. Regardless of what level we're playing at, this was still going to be a historic season for Forest to play European football after 30 years away, and that's all we really should have been thinking this summer, is looking forward to that. There shouldn't have been any debate at all or anything like that. It should have just been a celebration really for both teams to be playing in Europe. But I say both teams because of course all of this mainly is down to Crystal Palace, their situation, their multi-club ownership debacle. It all comes down to the fact that John Textor had shares in both Crystal Palace and Lyon, who have both qualified for the Europa League. As a result, one of them had to drop out. Now, Crystal Palace's argument will always be the fact that John Textor no longer actually has anything to do with Crystal Palace, so they don't have any kind of connection now. But at the time of the assessment date, which was at the beginning of March for UEFA, he did have shares in both clubs, and that's the stumbling block. So Forest are the next in line. They're the ones to then go and replace Crystal Palace in that competition. And we're not going to say no to that, are we? We're going to be happy to get an upgrade off the back of how last season ended to at least play in the Europa League. Is kind of the minimum that I wanted going into that Chelsea game. I wanted us to at least get Europa, and that's what we're going to get, even if it wasn't a direct route. Now, Forest fans are going to say that we are in the right to do this. Palace fans are going to say that it's unfair. Of course they are. I think the reason why people are seeing Forest as the bad guys is the fact that Marinakis allegedly wrote a letter to UEFA basically complaining about this. And I think that didn't sit right with certain people. But ultimately, if you look at it, we had every right to do that because Palace wanted alignment with the rules that were in place. So I don't really think we have done anything wrong, even if people don't like the way we've gone about it. I think looking at the rules, we are the ones that should play in the Europa League this season. Of course, all this comes down to the fact that Palace's appeal has been dismissed today, so therefore we now know officially which competition we're both playing in. I don't think it's a bad outcome really for either team. I think Palace could win the Conference League. I think we could do pretty well in the Europa League. I think the Conference would have been a more winnable competition for both sides, but I don't really think we can be too upset. But what's particularly good is we can finally actually, after a whole summer and whole pre-season of preparing, we finally know what we actually now need to do in the transfer market. Because there has been reports today from Sky Sports saying that we have actually been putting transfers on hold because we don't know which competition we're going to be in. So that's probably why going into this season, the week of, we still don't have enough players. We still only have 2 fullbacks. We still need probably at least one of the forward, a midfielder to come in. That's why we were able to field a bench like this against Al Qadsiya at the weekend. So that's just made our pre-season more disjointed. Losing Alanga, could have lost Gibbs White, and then knowing full well that we had to wait for an official decision about which level of Europe we were going to be playing at, which is going to have a say on how much money we've got to spend, who might want to come to the club. I think some players would want to play in the Europa League and maybe not the Conference. That's probably playing a part. James McAtee is a classic example. Maybe he wasn't all that fussed on playing in the Conference League and City didn't really want to sell him to a Conference League club, but they were more content with selling to a Europa League club. It's so impactful, this decision, and I really think now we're going to start seeing activity really go up a notch. Partly because we've got to. The season starts this weekend and you know, we've not got long left. We've got to the end of the month to get things done. So we've got to up our speed in terms of all what we're doing. But it's also now the fact we can, you know, we officially can go ahead and get the players we want in. You know, we didn't just go and sign anybody regardless of what competition. We clearly wanted to hold out and see if we could get the players we really wanted. And I think that's a good thing, you know. I think it's good that we haven't just gone and got anybody in and just think that will do. We've waited basically to find out for sure whether we're in a higher level or not. So I think this is only going to make things easier and probably quicker for Forest the rest of the transfer window, because we now know what level we're playing at. And obviously it all kicks off next month, the 24th or 25th of September. That is when Forest, we know for a fact now, are going to play their first European match in 30 years. I mean, that's pretty cool, right? Incredible. We should just enjoy it, you know, we really should make the most of it. We don't know if we're going to be here again anytime soon. I think the club want to be aiming for this every year, but there's no guarantees in football, so it's hard. It's hard to know when we might get this again, so we should enjoy it, especially playing in the Europa League. Please everyone, get your thoughts in the comments on this decision. We finally know what tier we're now going to be playing at in Europe, and hopefully we can finally see some transfers come in too at a quicker level. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and before the video ends, I do just need to say a thank you to the sponsors of this channel, Match Bingo. If you haven't checked out Match Bingo, there's a link in the description, the top of the description, so please go and check it out, and there's an iCard up here. It's football, sports betting and bingo all into one app. It's the same concept as regular bingo, but with football, so therefore it's probably more interesting, right? Over £200,000 have been won so far by players who play Match Bingo, and the deal for this game is buy 4, get 1 free. So please support the channel by checking out Match Bingo in the link in the description, or clicking on this QR code on screen right now. Please everyone, get your thoughts in the comments on this situation. I'd love to hear what people are going to say about this, because it's been a real mess all summer long, so it's good that we finally have some clarity on it. My Premier League predictions are out next. They should be out tomorrow, so please stay tuned for that on the channel. And yeah, thank you for watching everyone, and up the Reds.